Today we're going to make some more sourdough bread. Got my bowl here. Unfortunately, it's not going to be used, my mixture. I'm going to put my hands in it. So it's just a regular bowl, not my mixer bowl. I made this leaven last night. It is 25 grams of starter straight out of the fridge, 50 grams of water and 50 grams of flour. Mixed it up and left it on the counter until it doubled. And now we're going to make the dough. So we're going to put in, well, first of all, we're going to put in 300 grams of water. This is filtered water out of my refrigerator, which I then put in the microwave and warm up just to room temperature, just so it doesn't kill the yeast in my leaven. Oop, a little over, but that's all right. Next is 10 grams of salt, which is usually about 2 big, maybe 3, there we go, pinches. And then the 100 grams of starter, or it can be freshly fed bubbly starter, or it can be your leaven, whichever you choose to do. I've just been reading a lot about leavens lately and decided I wanted to try it. Oh, that's right at, and basically the difference between a leaven and a sourdough starter is that you use all of it, or you just have a little bit of starter left and then you put that in a clean bowl and then you have that for the next time. So we'll put that in a jar for the next time we bake. All right, once we get all of that in there, oops, we're going to mix it. Try to mix in, melt the salt. I use kosher salt. And mix in this leaven a little bit. Once it kind of gets milky like that, according to my directions, that means that it's about ready. By the way, today I am doing a jalapeno cheddar loaf, and the recipe I'm following is Grant Bakes, GRANTBAKES, on YouTube. It's at Grant Bakes. If you're interested to go watch his video, probably much better than mine. All right, now that we have that mixed up, we are going to put in 50 grams of whole wheat flour. I use King Arthur. Ooh, a little too much. Take a little bit back out. Yeah, close enough. And then 400 grams of bread flour, which I need to get some more out. So I use the King Arthur bread flour. And I'll refill my bowl here in a minute. Oops. We want 400 grams of this. It's much faster to pour it out of this bag than it is out of the jar anyway. What did I get? Way too much. Wrong one. There we go. All right. Now I'm gonna wet my hands and I'm gonna dig in there. Maybe I'll do a little bit with the spoon first. Maybe that'll save my hands from getting all covered with flour, dough, bread dough. You basically just want to get it mixed up enough that the flour can soak up all this water. And we'll let it rest for a little bit before we start the stretch and folds. All right. Now we're going to cover this shaggy dough for about, I got all of the flour in there, for about 30 minutes, and then we'll start our stretch and folds. Right, we're back. It's been 30 minutes, so I'm going to just do stretch and folds. Actually, Grant says to do this like 15 times the first time around. Most recipes say to do it just one time. But I don't mind making it, getting it a little bit more mixed in there. You just pull up, fold, makes it in a lot nicer little dough ball. And just turn it over so it looks pretty. I don't know why, no reason. We're gonna cover it for another 30 minutes. Now for the filling. This is where I'm going to go totally rogue and do exactly the opposite of what Grant says in Grant Bakes video tutorial. Reason being, I didn't have a fresh jalapeno, and I have shredded cheese I want to use. So, I am roughly chopping up the jalapenos, and I determined this was about a jalapeno's worth, one whole jalapeno. It's probably more, but that's good because I like it jalapeno-y. We're gonna throw this in the mixing bowl. Then we are going to use, he says to use block cheese because of all of the gross stuff that they add to the shredded cheese, which I agree, but I have this big thing of shredded cheese, so I'm using it. I'm also using sharp, and he says that mild or, what's going on here? Oh no. I broke my, I got water on it and it's broken. Dang it. Well, we're just gonna have to wing it then. So I'm gonna say, let's do about this much cheese. He said an 8-ounce block, half chopped fine and half bigger chunks. This will do good. And then I might not put all of it in the bread. We'll see what the consistency looks like. Who loves a rogue baker? Because that's me. I took, the recipe calls for 8 ounces of block, mild, or medium cheddar cheese, not the shredded. So, of course, I'm using an estimated amount of shredded sharp cheddar cheese. It also calls for 1 fresh jalapeno, seeded and sliced, and I'm using pickled jalapenos that I chopped up a little bit. So here we go. I'm going to put half of this in here. And then we're going to do our stretch and folds. This is the first time I've ever done inclusions in the stretch and folds. Seemed like a good idea, so we'll see. Just kind of incorporate those in there. And then we'll put the other half in the next stretch and folds. Time for the next set of stretch and folds. So we're going to put in the rest of the jalapeno cheddar cheese mix. I might have got too much. I don't know. Squish it down in there. Squishy squish. I might need a bigger bowl. Now we're going to stretch and fold again. That's gonna be so yummy. Look how well that's coming together. That is nice. Now back underneath the cover for another 30 minutes. We're heating the Jalapeño and preheating at 450. And I flipped the dough out onto my silicone, so as soon as that's ready, we'll stick it in there, cook it for 20 minutes with the lid on, and then another 15 to 20 minutes with the lid off.